Okay, anyone has any questions about this? 30, that's how many? 43 questions. Can you go over question 5? Yes, I'm gonna go over question 5. Ajeta, what's your question?
Hello, Professor. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good afternoon. So for the questions where you're supposed to fit in the y-intercept, but the intercept is a fraction, can we go through how to do
Which
those?
question was that?
Um, in this
You
quiz.
find the question, just let me know the number, okay? I'm going to talk about question 5 first.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, let's see question 5. A personal chef charges 130 per 4-person meal. So his monthly expenses are 2,500. How many 4-person meal must he sell in order to make a profit at least, inequalities, right? At least this much. So if we call 4-personal, let me see, can I write here? Written example. I cannot write here. Okay. So let's call the meal. Let's see how many 4-person meals he has to sell. So let's call it each 4-person meal M, right? And for each meal he charges 130. So 130 times M will be the money he get from selling 4-person meal. But he has monthly expenses of 2,500, right? Oh, subtract, right? This much money minus 25, so that's his cost, right? So that's his monthly expenses. And then profit, remember what's profit? Profit is the minus cost, the revenue minus cost. So 130 times M many meals he can sell. It's the revenue. Revenue subtract the cost. Now at least, what does it mean at least? Less than or equal to, right? I'm gonna use this sign. Means less than or equal to 2,900. Then you just solve for this inequality. That would be my hint. So who asked this? Kiana. Does this make sense for you?
Yeah, it's making sense.
Okay. All right. Profit equals the revenue minus cost. Okay, what's the next question? Does this count as a homework? No, practice has its own grade. All right. If you go to grading, if you go to grade book, right? You see, let me see. Oh, this actually, so this is 1006. I'm sorry, sometimes I get confused because I'm teaching 4 courses. Let me see. Homework, term exams, final exams, final exam policies, final exams. I don't know, I get question. It doesn't matter if it's going to be graded, right? It'll be always good for you to practice because you want to get ready for your exam, right? So yeah, please practice, all right? Let's see any other questions. Would at least have the greater than or equal sign to at least. Oh, yes, Ajeta, right, I made a wrong sign. Before I used less than or equal to, that's at the most. So this means at the most. Greater than or equal to means at least. Yes, I have made a mistake. Less than or equal to means at the most. Greater than or equal to means at least. Yes, Ajeta, you're right. Okay, any other questions? No questions? Everyone's ready for the exam in the weekend? Okay, the exams will be opened early morning, right after midnight of on Saturday. So then, right before midnight of Sunday, so you have exact 2 days. You have 48 hours to finish. So you pick 2 hours among these 48 hours to start and finish. Agenda, which question? Finding the y in from a graph. Which question is that? How much questions are on the exam? How many questions are on the exam? Usually it's about 20, I think. You're not sure, Agenda? I don't understand. May we please go over finding the y in from a graph? When it's
There was a question also on the quiz where you would have to derive the slope and the y-intercept from the line that was presented on a graph. I'm not sure which question that was, but I wanted to.
yeah, you need to find a question for me to explain it.
Okay. Yeah, it's like that one. I think it was
Like this one?
9.
Is this one?
You know, the question 9.
Or question 9? Question, no, okay, read the equation of this line. This is a vertical line. Vertical line, you see every point, see those 2 points. What do those 2 points have in common?
The x value is -4.
Yes, the x value equals -4. So we just write down x equals -4. That's it. That's the name of this line. Because every point on this line has x value the same, equals -4. So this vertical line is called x equals -4. So this is in 2 dimensions. Does it make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Professor, can you please go over number 26? Because
Sure.
when I did it in like the homework and the quiz, it even though I thought it was a function, it was telling me no, even though it seemed
This
like it
is
was a
not a function.
function.
This is not a function.
Well, no,
Function
not
has
that
a vertical
specific.
line test. Huh?
No, not that specifically, but like other questions as well. Like is that a function or not?
This one is not a function. When you put a vertical line at the x equals 1, what happens? The vertical line crosses this graph with 2 points. You see that? That means 1 corresponding to 1 and 1 corresponding to 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make a function. It fails the vertical line test at
Okay.
x equals 1, x equals 2. Any point from 0 up to 3, you know, if you draw a vertical line, it crosses the graph 2 points. That's not a function.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else has any questions? Okay, let's see 34. 34 is a tricky one. By my previous experience, many students get wrong on this. So b is positive, right? If b is positive, negative b is negative. So b is positive, so this has to be greater than sign, right? Because positive greater than negative. Absolute value of b is still positive. Absolute value of negative b is still positive, so this has to be equal sign. Absolute value of b is positive. Negative absolute value is always negative, so this has to be greater sign. Negative absolute value of b is negative. Absolute value of negative b is positive, so this has to be less than. Anyone has any questions? Let's see 35. A now is negative. Negative is positive. So this has to be less than, because A is negative, but negative A is positive. Absolute value of A is positive now, even A is negative. But this negative sign before absolute value is forever negative, so this has to be greater than. Negative absolute A is negative. Absolute value of negative A stays positive, so this has to be less than sign. Then absolute value of A and absolute value of negative A, the same, equal to. Okay, anyone has any other questions? So Saturday, right, Saturday is March 4th. Let me put a date. So once you start, you have to finish in 2 hours. There's no suspension. You cannot suspend the exam. Let's see this one, 37. B is positive, Y is negative. So if you do multiplication, B times Y, that would be negative, right? Because positive times negative will be negative. And B divided by Y is also negative. But B is positive, negative B will be negative, right? Y is negative, negative Y will be negative, negative will be positive. Any questions? Yeah, remember someone asked these questions. So the first one, f of x minus 5 means the input is x minus 5. So we just have to do negative 3 times x minus 5 plus 3. Right? The second one, the input is 5x. So do negative 3 times 5x plus 3. We add those two functions. The slope is unknown. We need to find the slope. What do? We just plug in the values of x and y in it, right, to find m. So line is given, and through this point, -5, -2, and the equation of the line parallel to given line through this point, right? We can find a slope of this line, so by using those 2 points. Then use that slope, because parallel, they have the same slope, use that slope, use this point, apply slope point formula. Can we please do this question? Sure, Ajeda. First, do you see 2 points? Okay, how do we find slope of this given line? Can you give me 2 points?
We would take the 2 points that are shown, so -2, -4, and -8, -2.
Right? We're going to use these 2 points. Then, can you tell me how to do the slope?
The slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So -2 minus -4, which would be +4, which is 2. And then -8 minus -2, which is -6.
Great. So we simplify to be -1/3, right? Now we know the slope is 1/3, and we have a point, the given point -5, -2. So we'll apply slope point formula. Y minus -2 equals to -1/3, because they're parallel. The slope have to be the same, x minus -5. Then we simplify a little bit. Minus 2 becomes +2. -1/3 times x minus -5 becomes x plus 5. And you can leave like this. You can have it simplified to be y slope form.
So you don't have to solve for the intercept?
No, you don't have to put it like a slope intercept form. You just leave it as this. So this is slope point form. That's okay. Just leave like this.
Understood. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anyone has any other questions? So I guess all of you are ready to take the exam then. So there's 31 of us here, so 30 of you. How many have tried or have finished this practice exam? Can you type in 1 if you have finished? Two people. What about the rest of you? Are you still trying? Oh, you don't know how to open? That means you haven't started yet. Okay, let's start from the beginning. What's going on? Ask me to leave. Oh, okay, leave this exam, I guess. So first you find your course, right? You see this calendar here? exam 1 practice problems. You click on it. Actually, someone, one of you taught me this. You click on this, then it pops up here, right under the calendar. You click on here. Then you have student preview, I think, I guess. The practice exam due next Monday, I think, after your exam. When is due? Oh, you are right. I think exam 1 practice problem exam due 11:59 p.m. Yes, it'll due on Friday, March 3rd, 11:59 p.m. So right before the exam opens. So exam 1 will be open on March 4th, 12:01 a.m., which means 2 minutes after this due. Okay, 2 minutes after this, exam 1 will be open. It doesn't open when you click on it. Really? What happened? So you highlight exam 1 practice problems. Once you highlight, go under the calendar, and you see this exam 1 practice problems. You click on it. The practice isn't part of a grade. Oh, well, you better take it because it just prepares you, right, for the exam.
Professor,
Yeah.
can you go over number 29?
Sure.
Well, it says my practice exam is number 29. It starts
Okay.
with suppose the path of a drone R can be described by the equation y equals. That one,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Suppose the path of a drone we call R can be described by the equation y equals 147 minus ax. You see this is one line, right? While the path of a herd of wild beasts, P, another one we call P, can be described by another line, the dashed one. So the two lines intersect at the point. What is this question? Solve system of equations, right? How do we solve system of equations? We could subtract those two equations in this case, or we can substitute. Yeah, either method. So have this y equals this. We could substitute this y into 147 minus ax equals to 3x plus 32. Then we solve for linear equation. Does it make sense? It's a solving system of equations equals 3x plus 32, right? Because you have y equals one expression, y equals another expression, so you can equal those two expressions. Then that's one variable, one equation, then you can solve. All right. Okay, any other questions? Oh, this is talking about perpendicular, right? And we need to find the slope of this line by using these two nice points. Once we find the slope of this line, we take its opposite, inverse, multiplicative inverse. Then we use point slope formula to write down the equation. So this relation is not a function, okay? The input, what are the inputs? Inputs x value from -4. So someone asked this earlier with bracket because the two ends are solid dot, right? So from -4, including -4, up to 3 and including 3. Right, so the inputs or the domain from -4 up to 3. What about the outputs? Y, also solid. So go from the bottom up. The lowest value is 0. The highest value is 3. So that's it, right? The output is Y, belongs to a set. To be exact, we put a wiggly parenthesis. Is this relation a function? No. Is it a function of x? No. Can we go over 2? Sure, let's go over question 2. Let me actually delete this. Question 2 is similar to the previous one, right? We see two lines. That's the system of two equations. So two runners begin a race. R of t, solid line, represents the distance of runner 1 from the finish line t hours after the race begins. And Q of t, dashed, the dashed graph, present the distance of runner 2 from the finish line t hours after the race begins. Question, how far from the finish line did runner 2 start? Well, what's the beginning? How far from the finish line did runner 2 start? Runner 2 is a Q of t. So Q of t is represented by the dashed one. What do you see? 6,000, right? 6,000. How far from the finish line did runner 1 start? Runner 1 is a solid. He started at 8,000. Part 3 question, runner 1 caught up to runner 2 after how many seconds? So where does these two intersect? At t equals 3, right? The intersection means after 3 hours. Is this in hour? Yes. After 3 hours, you see these two, the solid line and dashed line, intersects. Runner 1 caught up to runner 2 after how many hours? If they never did, runner 1 caught up to runner 2 after how many hours? The question is not asked so well. The question itself is not formed so well. Right? It's asking the same point. Do you see that? Because runner one is solid, started at 8,000. Runner 2 started at 6,000. But at this point, when t equals 3, and Q of t equals R of t equals 4,000, right? So runner 1 caught up with runner 2. Because this is where these 2 points, these 2 lines meet. They have the same x value, they have the same y value. Does this help? Okay, next question. Question 7. Okay, let's go question 7. A mouse and a cat start 50 yards apart. So think this is a cat, this is a mouse. At t equals 0, t equals 0 means the cat and the mouse doesn't start yet, right? Haven't started yet. The cat begins chasing the mouse. The cat begins chasing the mouse, running towards it at 5 yards per second. That's the cat's speed. While the mouse begins running away from the cat at 4 yards per second. Okay, so the cat is faster than the mouse. The mouse's speed is 4, the cat is 5. To find when the cat catches the mouse, you need to solve the equation. Which equation? When the cat catches the mouse, right? That means the distance. That means, so C is no, so 50 yards, no more 50 yards, it's 0 yards. When C catches mouse, there's no distance between them anymore. So, so t is time. Let's call the speed of, so we have a speed, right? We need to make an equation because we have t already, right? So when the cat catches the mouse, right? What is the cat's speed? Cat speed is 4, right? 4 times t, that's his distance. In t hours, he ran that many yards, right? 4 times t. Then plus 50 yards, because 50 yards is the distance between mouse and cat. Now, when it catches it, that means it catches it means the distance the mouse run is the same the cat run. Cat is 5, right? Cat begins chasing the mouse after running towards it at 5 yards per second. So 5 yards per second multiplied by t. T, I guess, is measured in seconds. That will be distance cat run. Plus 50. 50 is in between of mouse and cat. Right? So the mouse running away at 4 yards per second. So 40. Hold on, I would get negative numbers if I do this. If I do 5t plus 50 equals 40, I would get t equals negative 50. That's not right. A mouse and cat start 50 yards apart. So in between cat and mouse is 50. Then cat begins chasing the mouse, right? Cat run towards mouse. Oh, yeah. Then running towards it after 5 yards per second. Right, so that's speed of cat. So speed of cat 5 yards per second multiplied by t. T measures the time in seconds. That's the distance cat runs. Right. Then that should be equal to the mouse, because they already have between mouse and cat that's 50 yards. Okay. Distance 50 yards. then plus 40, right? Because the cat, the mouse running away from the cat, the speed for the mouse is 4 yards per second. I multiply by time t, right? That would be the distance the mouse run, and plus the 50 yards in between of mouse and the cat. So 5t equals 50 plus 40. Then minus 40 on both sides, so t equals 50 seconds. So, you know, it takes him 50 seconds for the cat to catch the mouse. And the cat will catch up with the mouse after 50 seconds, right? Because you just solve from this equation. You minus 40 on both sides, t equals 50. Does it help? Okay. Next question. Question 8. What's your question for 8? You can afford to, yeah, go ahead.
No, I thought you were asking. You can go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I want you to do it, you know, because I don't want to do it like a 7. You know, I do everything. Because if I do everything for you, you don't learn. You just ask me, what is your question? Which part you do not understand?
I understand it. It's just like how I know that you have to write an equation first and then get your answer.
This is the inequality, right? Inequality.
Yeah.
So think about you only have $145, right? You cannot spend more than $145. So how do you form this inequality?
I know the 145 would be on the right side of the inequality symbol.
Yeah.
And
less than or equal to,
then the $20, it would be 20 plus 5, but I know you have to add
20 plus 5. Okay, think about $20. Is it $20 per month?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Everything is per month anyway. So $145 per month anyway. Okay. So you have $20, right? It costs you $20 per month, then plus $5 per gigabytes. Then the question asks you how many gigabytes? What would you do? You count how many gigabytes can you afford G, right? You can afford G gigabytes.
Okay.
Then what do you do with the $5 per gigabyte?
Does it have to move in the equation? Or no?
No, you have the form inequality, right? Let me read for you. So far you have 20. You set a plus 5. Then you cannot spend at the most, means less than or equal to. You cannot spend more than 145. So it has to be less than or equal to. But with 5, you cannot do 20 plus 5, right? Because 5 is $5 per gigabyte. So you have to multiply by how many gigabytes, right?
Right. Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Right. So now you form inequality. The rest of it just solve it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Next question. So again, this is I think someone is late. Okay, this is practice exam 1 practice problems. Okay, make sure you do it. Where do you find it? You click on the calendar. It becomes pink. Then it pops under the calendar. You click into it. You try to do it. There are 43 questions. Okay. So make sure you do this before you take the exam 1 on the weekend. Any other questions? Jetta has no question. What about the rest of you? No one has any questions? Okay. Yeah, exam 1 is pretty simple and direct. Is a practice exam mandatory to take? I would think so, because this is designed by the department chair, Jeff Suzuki. Yeah, I would strongly suggest you to do it. Let's see my open math. Let's see the grades. If you have no questions, let's go back to check your homework grades. Let's see grade book. Grade book weighted total 666. Oh, the highest one is 8% something, 8 point something percent. So the rest of you is among 4, 5, 6, 7, 3, 5, 4. David, is David here? There's only 0.1%, that's no good. Oh, the highest one is 9%, which is Jason. 8.2, not bad. Homework part. Okay, so most of you looks pretty good. Some of you need to catch up. I guess those people are not even here. All right, okay, let's see if anyone has any questions. Is it counted towards our grade? I don't really see on the grade book, but you see here, you have something called instructor specific 100 points. Right. Final exam policies. Okay, I guess this is a little quiz. Term exams. Quiz. You have this instructor specific, you know, because this is up to 5 points. Yeah, I don't see, you know, grades of, you know, in the category for the grade category for that. But I think you should do it, you know, because it helps you to get better grades. exam 1. I don't see why not to do it. Okay, any other questions? Because I know only 2 people finished. Only 2 people finished. That means the rest of you haven't finished yet. Maybe some of you haven't even started yet. My computer glitched out. It is mandatory. Well, for you, it should be mandatory, right? It helps you to get better grades on exam 1. I don't see why not to do it. Please do it. Okay, I'll make it mandatory. That's why you don't have any questions. Okay, let's see. Basically, you can see it's the inequalities, linear equations, and the system of equations. Yeah, system of equations. It's pretty easy, the exam. Okay, let's go over question 10. What's your question? It's a, so it gives you this equation, linear equation, ask you to graph it. You just plug in, just find the 2 points, right, to graph, and then find the third point as a checkpoint. So you assign x any value you want. You can assign x to be 3, to be 6, because you don't want to deal with this fraction. If you assign x to be 3, 3 times 4 over 3 is 4. 4 minus 5, that's -1. So 3 comma -1 is 1 point. 3 comma -1 is 1 point. So you get this point. So you graph it. Then you assign x another value, maybe 6. So if x is 6, 6 times 4 over 3, that's 4 times 2, because 6 divided by 3 is 2. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 minus 5, that's 3. Right? So you have another point, 6, x value is 6, and the y value is 3, right here, right? You just click on it. I don't know why it's gone. It shouldn't go that way. So 3, -1 gives you a point. 6, comma 3 gives you a second point. Oh, I have to click on this. That's it. You have to click on the grade. Does this answer your question? Can we use 1 or 0? Yes, you can use 1 or 0, but if you use 1 or 0, you run into deal with fractions, right? If you use 0, 0 is good. 0, you get a 0, comma -5. Where you see 0, comma -5, you're using this point. But if you use 1, you see 1 times 4 over 3, you get a 4 over 3 minus 5. So 1 is here. So you're using this point. Oops. You don't get a nice number. All right. Yeah, 0 is a good number. X to be 0, then y is -5. You get this point. X is 1, x is 3, you get a y equals to -1, you get this point. X is 6, you get this point. Okay, let me see any other questions. Can we go over one that says, if f of x, then f of x? Which one is that? If f of x, then f. Can you give me a number? 11. So this one has no f of x. Okay, so Agila, can you find one with, so I'm going to talk about 11. You find one with f of x. Suppose manufacturing a gizmo requires 5 bolts and 7 screws, where manufacturing a woodset requires 3 bolts and 9 screws. Suppose there are 99 bolts and 201 screws available to produce gizmos and worsets. Write an equation expressing the idea that making X gizmos and Y weights use the 99 bolts. All right, this one is a little bit tricky, requires some thinking. All right. So we want to write an equation making X gizmos and Y weights use 99 bolts. So, '23. Okay, let's finish talking about 11, then we go to 23, okay? Okay, so gizmos requires 5 bolts, right? If we want to make X gizmos, that's 5X, right? Then, so what says requires 3 bolts, right? So that would be 3 of Y. So Y meaning what sets. And then together, how many? How many? 99, right? Use the 99. Because one gizmo requires 5 bolts. One worsets requires 3. So that's it. That's the equation, right? Second, write an equation expressing the idea that making X gizmos and the Y weights use 201 screws. Well, how many screws needed for gizmos? 7. 7X. Then how many screws for worsets? 9. 9Y equals to 201 screws, right? If all the bolts and screws are used, you can produce how many gizmos and how many worsets? Well, how many we have? We have 99 bolts, we have 201 screws, and if all of them, if all the bolts and screws are used, you can produce how many gizmos and how many weights. What does this asking? We have this equation, right? System of equations. We have this equation. We just solve for x and y. We solve for x and y. We can multiply the first one. We can get rid of x, or we can get rid of y. Maybe we'll get rid of y, right? We have these two equations. The second equation has 9y. So maybe we want to make the first one negative 9y. Or maybe positive 9y. So we can multiply the first equation by 3. So 5x multiplied by 3, 15x. So 3 times 3, 9y. 3 times 99, what is it? 27, 27, 20, 99. So 3 times 9, 27. Carry on to, that's 29, 9. Now we can subtract these two equations, right? Subtract 15, subtract 7. 15x subtract 7x, we get 8x. Then 299 subtract 201, we get 98. We get 8x. So how many x? How many? Right. So 8x equals 98. equals to 98. Yeah, 15 minus 7 is 8, right? 299 minus 201, that's 98. It's not an even number, so we get a 13, approximately 13. Why it's not? It should be an even number. Twenty-seven times 3. Oh, I did that wrong. 27 times 3. 27 times 3. No, what is 27? No, 99 times 3. 99 times 3. 298, right? Hold on. 297. 297. I did that wrong. So now when we subtract, we get 8x equals to 96. Now this can be divided by even, right? So x equals to 13. Right? The 12. X equals to 12. So then you solve for y. Once you get an x value, you substitute into the equation into any of them. You solve for y, right? So 7 times 12. 7 times 12, that's 84. I'm using the second equation. Plus 9y equals to 201. Right? The 9y equals to 201 minus 84. That's 7. That's 117, isn't it? 117. No. Yeah, 117. That is right. Isn't it? 201 minus 84, that's 117. Because 117 plus 84 give us back 201. 7 plus 4, 11. Yes, 201. So 117 divided by 9, what do we get? We get a 1. 1 times 9, 11 is 27 or 13. So y equals to 13. That's it. Right? A system of equations. Okay. So each one, this is application for system of equations. Okay, any other questions? $23, sure. $23 FC cube. Who cares about what FC cube is? We just read in the input. What does the function do? The function multiply 2 with the input, right? Then plus 10. That's it. So input is C cube. So input is x, we multiply by -2 plus 10. Input is C cube, we multiply by -2 plus 10. Next question. For functions, right, you always read the input. Okay, input, you see the function is defined as multiply -2 with the input plus 10. So when input is anything, it's just multiply -2 plus 10. Any other questions? So Saturday, Sunday, exam 1 will open, pick up 2 hours. Once you start the exam, you cannot suspend. You have to finish in 2 hours, all right? Okay, if you have no questions, you are free bird. If you have questions, how many questions in the exam? Let me see. I won't be able to share with you, so let me stop sharing. So let me see how many questions. I don't think I can see it. I don't see exam 1. I cannot see it. I only see review questions. Oh, right. This is not. This is. Oh, did I open the wrong one? No, it's the right one. It's 2021, 2022. I don't see 2023 ones yet. Only when he opens, I can see it probably. Yeah, I cannot find it. Yeah, exam 1 practice problems, exam 2 practice problems. Exam 1 practice problem. Final exam policies. Nope, I'm just like you. I don't see it. Because you can see here, right? The coordinator, which happens to be the course, which happens to be a department chair, he listed me as a tutor. You see this course you are tutoring, course you are tutoring, course you are teaching is different. Course you are tutoring, so he listed me as a tutoring. So everything he sets up for everything. I don't even see the exam too, so I cannot tell you how many questions. But I think it's less than 20 questions. Cannot be more than 20. Okay, any other questions? All right, if you have no questions, you are free bird. If you do have questions, I'm here to discuss with you. Okay, good luck on your exam, all right? Hopefully you get 100. Make sure you write your steps, because partial grades from me, I have to grade you, I have to give you partial grades.